You know what? I think I'm letting the AI make the thumbnail today.
Oh
Eh,
no, please don't.
Oh no.
you know what? You all want to play games. This is what happens when you play
Well, I
games.
think it was funny that you already had Derpy muted 3 times before we even started the show. So that kind of gives us an indication of how today's going to go. Derpy's already been muted 3 times. Um, guys, it's going to be 80 degrees here in Pittsburgh today. And you'll know I have my hoodie on. You'll notice I have my hoodie on. And the reason why is because it's getting drafty, guys. It's getting very drafty. 1 week from today, we're going to have a new number one draft pick here in Pittsburgh.
Can't wait.
I'm starting to see people are losing their minds. I mean, it's getting close. You could tell people are getting anxious. People are getting excited.
We're getting angry.
Let me ask you this, Mike, just for fun, if you had to pick one person out of this draft, let's say that the position didn't even matter. Let's say we're not talking about who we're worried about getting, who positions we're needing to fill. Who's one guy, if you were a GM, that you would take in this draft because he is just hands down the guy that you would love to have on your team as a football player?
Oh, that's a tough one. God, maybe Will Anderson Jr., linebacker out of Alabama, or who is it? Is it Tyree Wilson, the edge rusher?
Okay, about you, Derpy.
That's the other guy.
Derpy, who's one person? Like I said, regardless of who the Steelers need, what the position is, whatever, who cares? I don't care about that. If you could just take one guy from this draft, would be that one person that you absolutely want on your team just because you admire him as a football player, who would it be, Derpy?
It would be JSN.
Okay.
Just
fair enough.
I'm an Ohio State fan, that's all.
Oh God. You want a slot receiver?
Well, here's my thing. Whenever the Steelers get an Ohio State receiver, they're actually good.
Santonio Holmes was amazing. I can't. You'll notice that I am the guy that goes on and on and on and on and on again about number 10 every time anything about Ohio State receivers come, because if you go back and watch, guys, I just did this the other day because I've gone on and on about Santonio Holmes for probably the last 10, 15 years of my life. But if you go and you watch his highlights, you just remember how good this guy was. I specifically watched the play. It was Bill Cowher's very last play. It was the season after they won the Super Bowl. They didn't make the playoffs the following year, and then Tomlin took over the team the next year. This play that ended the season was a number 10 touchdown. And I'm convinced that 98% of the league wouldn't have made this same exact play. The play that Santonio Holmes made to finish out that season against the Bengals, to finish out Bill Cowher's last season. I was blown away. And I'm not even thinking of the obvious things, the amazing Super Bowl catch, possibly the best catch in Super Bowl history. That aside, just go pull up some of his highlights when you get a minute. He was nothing short of amazing. Probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, wide receiver on this team in my lifetime. I think you have to throw Antonio Brown in there just because of the talent and the skills that he brought. But pound for pound, I mean, Brown was a 6th round. This guy was a 1st round. I just love Santonio Holmes. I thought it was so unfortunate the way things played out with him.
It was, but JSN is nowhere near the level of athlete that Santonio Holmes was. Like, no disrespect to JSN. Good player. I think he's gonna be a damn good receiver. He's not a game changer. But you know what, Derby, that's your choice, and I respect it. You want to be a homer, be a homer.
I'm a homer. Hey everybody, welcome to the Two Dumb Yinzers. This is episode 291. This day marks 10 days, just 10 days, guys, till the NFL draft. This time next week.
7
days. What am I
7 days
saying? What am I saying? 10 a week away, just 1 week.
You need to go back to school
this time next week.
I think he does.
Up to our necks in the draft, and we're gonna know this day next week who our number 1 guy is going to be. Guys, it's getting really exciting. It really is.
I hope the weather's like this next Friday.
You know what? It's probably
because I'm supposed to be going to that.
It's probably going to pour, Derby. You might even get snow, so don't even get excited.
Man,
Well, I'm going now. I'm definitely going now.
I heard like Cam Hayward and a bunch of people are going to be there. It's going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah. Supposed to do his podcast there.
Yeah. I want to tell you about a dream I had real quick, Derby.
Oh God.
I take this nap before the show, and when I took my nap today, I woke up in a cold sweat, and what happened was this. I was talking to somebody, I don't even know who it was. I thought it was one of you guys, but it wasn't. And he was telling me that we had to give all of the guys that Omar Khan was able to bring in this free agency season, from Armand Watts to Patrick Peterson to Landon Roberts to the whole dozen, the dirty dozen. We had to give them all back because they found out that Omar Khan was using monopoly money. This is no joke. This is a 100% dream. And I was so let down because I thought, oh my God, everything that we just got excited about, everything that we just talked about, everything that we've been talking about for the past, 6 weeks is all gone. We have to go back to square one because we had to give back every single guy because Omar Khan apparently was using monopoly money. And I even, when I got up, I got a hold of Mike and I told him, and I snoozed. I don't ever use my snooze button ever, but I snoozed, Derpy, because I wanted to find out what the hell happened and if we were going to get our players or not. So I went back into dreamland, and of course it wasn't there. It was something totally different when I fell back asleep. But yeah, monopoly money.
Yeah, he woke up shook.
I was shook.
It was interesting.
I was sweating profusely.
Yeah, it was not pretty.
I mean, it could be worse.
Could be a Browns.
It could have been a nightmare.
Yeah.
You could have seen Cleveland win the Super Bowl.
That's a dream. That is the dream, Derpy.
Wow. Oh yeah. Okay. One other thing I do want to talk about real quick. Somebody,
heck, maybe even make one.
Yeah. Also, one other thing I want to talk about real quick before we get into the show. We have an NFL dad, locally here, whose son is in the NFL. I believe he's in the NFL at the moment. He was a free agent as of last year. And he gets a hold of me on the show, or on the on one of our social media pages, and he's a Steeler basher. Okay, his son didn't play for the Steelers, and he had a good question, and I don't know. I'm going to ask you guys. So I was posting things about Allen Robinson, and the things we're going to talk about more this morning. And he got on, and he, like I said, he's always got a nice rebut, and he always, don't get me wrong, he comes at me with something. It's always something. But he asked me today, and I posted a few things about Allen Robinson. He says, if this guy is so good, why did the Rams get rid of him? And I haven't responded yet. I don't know if it was maybe they're looking for receivers in the draft. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they just got conned.
Maybe they can't afford him.
Maybe that's what it is right there. It's salary cap issues. That salary cap. They're in salary cap hell. They went all in to get the Super Bowl, and they did. And now they can't afford it. They had that's why they couldn't re-sign OBJ.
Yeah.
They're tight against the cap.
So there you go. I don't know if you're listening, but if you are, there's the answer. Salary cap issues. I saw it, and then I got on the show, and I didn't have a chance to respond. But
I'm pulling up their salary cap info right now. But yeah,
you have it.
Yeah, they were in salary cap trouble.
That's what I thought it would be. And as you said, I mean, they went all in. They went all in to go after that Super Bowl. Fortunately, they were able to pull it off. And now they're stuck with all the monetary issues that comes with that. So
yeah, they have like 10 million left in cap. They're right up against the cap.
So there you go. That is the answer.
Yeah. And they had to eat a lot of his salary cap too to get, to be able to trade him.
Salary cap hell.
They're getting close. Yeah.
Guys, we're going to talk a lot of football, especially over the next week, but I can't push off the Buccos. I could push them back a little bit. I could move them around. But you know what? At this time, this point in the game, they are the hot show in town. They're the hot hand. So we are going to go. We're going to talk baseball here momentarily, and then we're going to get back into the things that are really true and dear to our heart: football. Pittsburgh Pirates, they win again. Not only win again, they won again 14-3 again. They scored 33 runs this weekend, or these past few days against the Rockies. They scored 33 plus in a 3-game road series for the first time since September of 1975. 1975. They out-hit Colorado yesterday 18-5.
Jeez.
And here's my thing. Colorado, that's where they play. We're going up there and we're having a time and taking advantage of the thin air and knocking the ball out of the park. They got, Chris Bryant. They got a Blackman. They got, they still have a nice team.
A black man or black mon?
Blackman,
I'm sorry. I was like, whoa.
And his email address is Mike Mahler at the Two Dumb Yinzers, everybody.
I was like, what the heck?
So, they have decent players over there, and I just,
yeah.
We could go on and on and on about, the quality of the teams. The fact of the matter is the Pittsburgh Pirates are 12-7. They're coming home for a 4-game series today
against
the Cincinnati Reds, who did beat us 2-1 in the very first season of the series of the season.
You got to get 2 out of the 4 or 3 out of the 4.
I think we're going to get 2 out of this. It's the second time around. We're a little bit more confident with ourselves than we were in that very first series. They won another series again yesterday, of course. So at this point, they have 2 series wins, 2 series losses, and 1 tied series, a 4-game series against St. Louis. So not terrible, not great, but they're holding their own. Today, the series is a 4-game series. It starts today at 6:35, goes the whole way through the weekend. Contreras is on the hill. I'm liking it since we played them last. Cincinnati is sunk to the bottom of the division. And these guys they're hitting on all cylinders. I got Delay and Connor Joe. They had 3 hits yesterday. Hayes, Kutch, Santana, Castro, Matthias all had 2 hits yesterday. And Oviedo, another quality start. I think this is 8 in a row from our starting pitchings. It's total of 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Again, Contreras at the 5 spot in the rotation has been pitching out of his mind. So he pitches today. Then tomorrow we're back to the top of the rotation with Mitch Keller. The following day will be Hill, and so on, so on. So we're going to be hitting the top of the rotation. So I like where things are going, guys. Another thing that we do have going in our favor is this, because we haven't been, guys. I can't even think of the last game we lost, to be honest. And we're sitting at 12-7. We have not been able to gain a game on Milwaukee. There's still 2 games ahead of us. They won't lose, but they and the Cubs, who were able to come up and tie us, they are both off today. So if we win this game, we bump up on the Cubs, and then we catch up a half game on the Brewers. So those are some things going in our favor, at least for the day.
Yeah, it's always the Brewers, man. It just feels like in the past decade, the Brewers have been like I say it all the time. It's just always the Brewers. It feels like to me. This one, I think we're going to beat the Brewers. It's the Brewers. I'm okay with when we were going up against the Cubbies and the Cardinals, because you expect them. But the Brew Crew, come on.
Yeah,
they annoy me. I don't like them anymore.
And I don't pay attention to the Brewers, and I've hardly paid attention much to what's been going on in the league in baseball for the past 10 years. And if I see that damn Ryan Braun run out on the field when we go to play the Brewers, I don't know what's happened to him. I don't know where I hope that he's retired by now, but he was such a killer. I mean, that guy, come on, you couldn't get this guy out.
No.
But I swear, if he comes jogging out on the field when we play Milwaukee, I'm just going to shit. I'll shit. Ryan Braun, whatever came of him.
That would smell.
Check this out. Also, yesterday, McCutchen, who is red hot, he passed Archie Vaughn for 9th on the Pirates' all-time total base list. Andrew McCutchen has 2,486 total bases. Could you imagine if he would have stayed here the past 7 seasons? Where he would be on that?
Oh yeah, he would be what? He'd be close to He'd probably be number one.
You would think he would have to be somewhere. I don't have all those numbers in front of me, but as I said, being at this point, walking away, coming back 7 years later, and being at 2,486, I would think that he would be pretty far up that list. But there you go. Let's still keep putting out the damage, Kutch, because he's doing he I think he's certainly exceeding expectations of what people thought we were going to get back when we brought McCutchen back.
Yeah.
Of course, today is going to be the 20th game of the season. There's still 142 games after today's game, so that leaves a lot to be answered still. Who knows if McCutchen, I would think at some point, baseball season is a long roller coaster. You will see McCutchen drop down a little bit, but for what he's doing so far in the leadership and the experience and just the vibe that he's bringing to this team, it's going so far. And, these guys are really rallying around him. And you know what it was? I think that first game, when we went out to Cincinnati, we lost that series. When we swept Boston. When we came home to Chicago, these young players who were probably 10 years old, 12 years old when that 2013 team did its run, they looked and they seen the respect that this guy got. When McCutchen came out there and that the crowd gave him that ovation, they gave him the ovation at his at bat, his mom sang. I think that's when them guys really, really understood the importance of McCutchen and what he means to this city. And they really, since that point, they started to rally around him, and they showed it in the White Sox series. They showed it in the Astros series. They showed it. Keep an eye on that. Even if McCutchen isn't playing great baseball, there's a feel on this team that they want to win because of Andrew McCutchen.
It could be. Hopefully, I just want to see him keep winning. It'd be nice to actually have a relevant baseball team.
Absolutely, man. It's a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun enjoying a good baseball season.
Yeah, because my God, they haven't been good. But out of 3 years, out of the past 27, out of the last 30,
easy, yeah,
easily.
Derpy was just a twinkle in his parents' eye. One other baseball note that I do have here: Seattle, they just got swept, or they just got beat by Milwaukee. I think that Milwaukee swept them. But they have a thing they stole from us. I don't know what this is. Every time we do something cool, everybody's got a jacket. You have to jack it. Well, they have a home run trident, one of these like a pitchfork. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And every time that somebody hits a home run, they come in and they grab it and they dance around in the dugout. And I thought, oh, geez, I could have swore I've seen that somewhere this season. But hey, whatever. I'm sure they invented it and came up with the idea. But
naturally, yes.
I just thought to myself, how do you travel with a 5.5 foot devil's pitchfork? Basically, I would have thought, sticking the plastic sword that's this big in something would have been cutting it close.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, at least they're not flying commercial. So they got that.
Right.
They got that going for them.
They got that going for them.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with this? Oh, we're going to dance around with it. Oh, okay.
That is robbery, but they're the Brewers, aren't they?
Seattle Mariners.
Seattle Mariners.
No, I meant Milwaukee. Oh no, the Mariners are the ones that do it.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Milwaukee that does it.
No, they just got swept in Milwaukee, and they even pulled it out during that. So yeah, it isn't like they have like these great things going on and these great ideas. It was just pure blatant pirating of our idea.
Ooh, Ali, you worked in jacket and pirating.
You like that?
Same little segment. I liked it. You might have a future in this business,
right?
Mariners are the most overrated team in the MLB.
Who is?
Whoa, Derpy with the
Mariners.
Overrated? Are they? I don't know. Please tell me. I don't know much about the Mariners.
I don't know much about.
They got one guy that won Rookie of the Year, and now they're relevant.
That's all it takes. The Pirates have some bunch of old guys, and they're relevant.
Relevant because they're winning, though. What's going on with Seattle, I don't understand. Again,
I don't know what they're doing.
I don't pay much attention to Seattle. I never have. More than likely, I never will. But back in the day, I mean, geez, you had Randy Johnson, you had Alex, you got A-Rod, somebody else, Ken Griffey Jr., of course. I mean, there was times in history that they were relevant, but aside from that,
not right
yeah,
now.
That's actually the last time they were in the playoffs.
Hey, man, they had Ichiro, the greatest hitter of all time.
Yeah,
the greatest hitter of all time.
That guy, I seen him play one year. The Seattle came to town,
Ichiro was tough, man. He's a beast.
He was hard to get out.
He was a damn good fielder too.
And one other thing, if you are going downtown today to the North Shore to watch the Pirates, PNC Park Ushers Union, they avoid strike after reaching a tentative agreement with the Pirates. Of course, you've been reading that there was strike issues. They were going to strike and they were going to be picketing and this and that. So you're not going to have any issues. They've come up with an agreement. So you're going to be able to go down and enjoy your experience at the park today. I'm sure you're just going to part of that whole park enjoyment that we've been hearing about for 20 years.
Yeah,
down there and enjoy PNC. Screw the Pirates. Screw the winning.
That's how you know things were bad, when anyone ever wants to talk about is the beautiful ballpark.
Yeah,
you can have the best ballpark in the league. If you don't have a good team, I'm not going to go.
Oh,
and they still have a good team, but I'm still not going to go because F Bob nothing.
Other PNC Park news: the Pitt Panthers hosted West Virginia in the backyard brawl game yesterday, and they drop the game. West Virginia comes back and wins this baseball game 9-4. Pitt had the lead early. Mountaineers mount a comeback. Pitt couldn't climb back into it.
They choked it away.
And they have Penn State at some point. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but I do know that Penn State also visits PNC Park this year. So that's another big game if you want to check out some college baseball.
Well, did they always play it at PNC Park, or is this just something new for for the backyard brawl and Pitt Penn State games?
Yeah, I think that for the special games.
Oh, okay, because I honestly didn't know, and that's my God, the first time I've ever seen anyone talk about Pitt baseball in West Virginia. So I didn't know if it's always been a thing, and now they're just talking. People are talking about it more.
It's such a double-edged sword with this baseball at the PNC Park, Mike, because it's awesome. You're playing at a pro ballpark. Mm-hmm. You have the pro locker rooms, everything. Everything is at the highest, and especially PNC Park. We know because we've been told 10 million times that it's the nicest ballpark in the country. Blah 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 blah. But the downside is this: it looks like there's about 10 people in the stands.
Yeah.
And West Virginia travels well, albeit it's baseball. It's Pitt, it's backyard. They're gonna make the trek up.
Yeah.
And Pitt's gonna have people there. And like I said, I'm watching the highlights of this game and I'm thinking to myself, geez, there's nobody there. And that's of course I think is the downfall.
Yeah.
For playing at a place like PNC Park, which again, it would be awesome because there you're on the diamond where, the best players in the world come in and play. And you have all the best baseball players ever that's been on this field and plays on this field and whatnot. And that's enjoyable. That's something to talk about. It's something but it looks like there's nobody there watching. So
yeah, but it's like college baseball outside of programs that are built for baseball. Not many people go to watch college baseball.
Yeah.
It is what
they know that. The baseball players know that. It shouldn't upset them.
It better not. They better understand where they stand. I don't know why I'm talking trash on college baseball players.
Yeah.
I'm feeling
who's going to defend them?
I'm feeling
college baseball.
Really to punch at. So I don't know what I'm doing. I'm feeling froggy.
What did you say? You're gonna what? Repeat what you just. I didn't even hear.
I'm feeling punchy today. Punchy. Let's some hot takes, but there's no hot takes to be made today. It's such a boring sports day. It sucks, and I'm taking it out on the poor college baseball players.
Don't pull yourself together.
Oh. Derby, don't make me come up there.
Slowly making a transition to football here, guys. I'm going to go here first just because I hate to ruin a good thing when we start talking NFL. XFL, week 10. A lot on the line this week. If you are into spring football, teams will be making the playoffs. Teams will be missing the playoffs. Yes. Teams will be seeded in the playoffs. And Hines Ward's San Antonio Brahmas, yes, believe it or not, San Antonio Brahmas have a chance to make the playoffs if they could somehow pull off the upset and beat the DC Defenders, who are 8-1 in this last week of the season. If the Brahmas beat the Defenders, they're in. The Defenders and the Houston Roughnecks are already in. And there's plenty of implications. There really are. And if you look into it, and if you're interested, it's actually a lot of fun and very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, AJ McCarron marked as an underachiever in the XFL. Ben DiNucci, one of the biggest surprises in the NFL, in the XFL, who has he leads the XFL after 9 games with 2,332 passing yards. DC's running back Abram Smith leads the XFL with 747 rushing yards after 9. And Jamcore Pearson, he leads the XFL with 628 receiving yards after 9 games. So those are your offensive leaders thus far. I'm digging spring football, and you know what? I'm taking it all in because I hope to continue to do this. I hope next spring I could get into it again and really enjoy it and take it for what it is. And it's spring football.
Like how can you not like it? It's bridging the gap between from the end of the Super Bowl to the draft. It's perfect. It's like the way the XFL season's doing it, and it's like that dead time when there's nothing going on.
And it isn't
combine free agency, but there's a lot of deserts in there of like real good news. Like day 1 and 2, and like the first 3 days of NFL free agency, definitely day 1 and 2, hot and heavy. Then there's nothing. Then you get to the combine. It's like, all right, there's some juicy stories. Then nothing, and now you're heating up the week before the draft. And what's been going on this entire time? If you're starved for football, the XFL.
And you know what? People always go on and on. And a lot of people didn't say that this year. So I'll give them this. But a lot of people go on and, there's such a drop in talent. You know what? It is what it is. And it wasn't disappointing. And it wasn't like I was ever sitting there at any point in this 9 weeks saying to myself, oh, God, I wish this was the NFL. Of course, I do wish the NFL was on, but I never sat there and complained and cried. Yeah. Said, you know what, this stinks. These guys are terrible. That's not the case. You enjoy it. You know what it is. It's the 54th player on every team, basically, in this league. And these guys are, they're not Jerry Rice. They're not Patrick Mahomes. But you know what? They're good. They're good football players. Enjoy it.
Yeah, and there's talent out there. And they're fun to watch. They're good games.
They are. They're really good games. And then with the twists and turns and the rules, that makes it a little funner, I think.
Yeah, I like it because, my God, the last couple minutes of those games were like, oh, we're down 3 scores. There's no way we can come back. Oh, we got a touchdown. Let's go for 3. Oh, we get that. Hey, guess what? We're going to do the 4th and 15.
Yeah.
We convert that, go down, score. Hey, we're going to go for 2. Score. Hey, we're going 4th and 15 again. Make it go down, and
can you imagine
your defense, your offense can be out there rolling. The opposing defense can be out there gas completely. You're trying to figure something out how to stop this offense that finally has momentum. It's making the end of these games tight, and we saw it, man. A couple games last week went into overtime. We had back-to-back weeks where the best team in the league was forced to go to overtime, and I like it because the NFL, you get up by 3 scores in the 4th quarter, the game's over. Unless you completely fall off, it's over. Because, onside kicks, I can't remember the last time I saw live an onside kick recovered.
Yeah.
I've seen the replays when live game I'm watching. No, but 4th and 15s, I've seen them converted at least weekly in the XFL.
Yeah, no, it's a different beast. And I like that. And then I like what the USFL brings to the table because they have minor adjustments as well. Mm-hmm. They kind of tie some things together between the NFL and the XFL and the USFL. Now they're in their 2nd week of the season. This Sunday, 1:00 p.m., the Pittsburgh Maulers, They host the New Jersey Generals. Of course, that is where Dravon Henry from Aliquippa plays as the starting safety. You'll see him number 7 back there, making big hits as he was last week. They also are 0-1. And when I say home, I mean at Canton. So if you're going to attend this Pittsburgh Maulers game this week, you have to plan on going up to Canton. Maybe make the day of it, as Mike suggested before. Make it the day, go up and visit the Hall of Fame. There's a lot of things that the Yinzers will enjoy inside of that building as well. So get up there and check them out. Maulers hosting the New Jersey Generals Sunday at 1:00. Let's hope the Maulers get back in the winning column and not be the worst team in the USFL for once. They were the worst back in the early 80s. They were the worst last year. So let's see if this team can, catapult themselves out of that.
It would be nice. It would be nice. God, talk about like a history of losing.
Yeah.
You've only had like 2 years in existence. You've lost. Back for year 3, didn't look good. Hopefully they can turn it around.
Reuben Foster, the linebacker, of course, out of Alabama, who's one of the top touted running backs at Alabama. He gets into the NFL, gets into a little trouble, has a couple injuries. Now he's playing in the USFL for the Pittsburgh Maulers. He's still fun to watch. Even with all that stuff in his past, he's still a great linebacker. A lot of people actually wanted us to draft him out of Alabama back when he was coming out. Also, we had a punt return for a touchdown last week. Exciting. And, Reuben Foster's strip at the 1-yard line, which bounced in the end zone and led to the Maulers touchdown. With that being said, those very exciting things, the Pittsburgh Maulers have not scored an offensive touchdown. So
I like the quarterback play. I'm sorry, in the line play and the play calling and the play design.
Wow.
It might be a while before we see a
It would be like the equivalent of like when we played Mighty Mites. That's what it was like watching this
so
offense.
bad. It was like 4 deep shots in a row.
Yeah.
It was just like it made no sense whatsoever.
And he's a former Steeler coach. I just don't understand why they're so bad. I said, the game plan seems very sophomoric, and it seems like something that we would have done in the midgets. There's just no rhyme or reason to what they're doing on offense on this Pittsburgh team. It's kind of frustrating, but still, it's football. Still, they're wearing black and gold. I'll be watching. Believe me.
I hope they turn it around.
And the other Pittsburgh team playing this weekend, Mike and Derpy, is the Pittsburgh Passion. The girls are back at it. Ladies, I'm sorry. They're back at it. It's on Saturday at 6 p.m. They play at DC against the DC Divas. So you got all these spring games going. You got the draft next week. When this USFL season is over, it's going to be time for camp, and it's here, guys. It really is. It's here, and we're sitting 1 week out, not 10 days, but only 7 days. 7 days from the NFL draft. I couldn't be more excited.
I can't either. I am pumped. I've been doing mock drafts like crazy. It's because I am that guy. And I tell you what, man, I think I'm giving Omar Khan a run for his money. I think I could be the next GM. I could be the assistant to the assistant. I could be Andy Weaver's assistant. Okay. I'm like Dwight Schrute. I'm the assistant too. But no, draft it next week. And like the rumors are already starting. You're starting to see disinformation come out about players. I'm loving it.
Let me get back to that in 1 second. I do have a fun one that I know that you're just itching to tell, Derpy. Before we do that, let me just break this real quick. Antonio Brown. Remember I told you yesterday there was the incident where he said that he was the sole owner of the Albany indoor football team.
Yeah.
Up in Albany.
Yeah.
And it said that his co-owners disagreed. Today, the latest that I got was Antonio Brown got asked to leave the field at the Albany Empire game because the security didn't believe that he was an owner. What in the world is going on?
Yeah, security. Yeah, hey, I tell you what, though, I give security credit. They did their job. Because he didn't have any because I saw the video. I don't think he had any lanyard on with the placard letting him, I have field access. He's just some guy walking around along the walls, high-fiving people.
And that shows you how significant the Albany Empire is. That they don't recognize Antonio Brown walking into the room.
I loved it. But I do kind of give security credit. One, they did the job, but two, like most football players, if I see them without their gear, I don't know who you are.
Do they all look the same to you, Mike? Or
no, because they all
Okay,
have helmets on. You can't tell.
again, at Mike Mahler at 2dummusers.com.
I mean,
I hate you. Both.
security did their job. They kept someone with mental health issues
Oh wow!
Hey,
away
Wow.
from the stadium. So I mean,
Derpy's
they did their job.
Derpy's
guys are
just like
both
shots
these guys are
fired.
both on today. All right. No, but how crazy is that? They come, like I said, again, you're the Albany Empire. I literally have to look at the name every time.
Yeah,
I
like,
can't
who
even
are
recall
you?
who this team is. You walk out as an owner, not only being an owner, you're Antonio Brown,
Yeah.
and the security's like,
Like, who are
yeah,
you?
no, not on the list here.
No, buddy. You have to get behind the lines, or we're gonna have to call the cops.
Yeah, get behind
They'd
the
be like,
line.
"Oh man, I got them on speed dial."
Yeah,
they know me, I know them.
so there you have it.
Oh Jesus!
Shout out to the security guards.
I do want to talk about this guy for a minute, and as I said, I know that Mike's chomping at the bit with this story, and
No,
I know
you're
that the
good.
draft and everything, but this
No, you're good.
Allen Robinson, a couple numbers we've come across here at the show. Allen Robinson, his drop percentage since 2000 is in the top 5, which means it's the best, top 5 best. Tyler Boyd being the best now since 2020. I'm sorry, since 2010, 2020. I'll get it out there.
You'll get it.
Tyler Boyd, 1.7 is the best. 1.7 drop percentage. 1.7 Tyler Boyd. Number 2, St. Brown from Detroit at 1.9. Renfro, 2. Devontae Adams, 2.2. And Allen Robinson, 2.2.
Not bad.
So all the times that they tell us how great Deontay Johnson is and how he never drops any balls, I'm beginning to think that they're just making this shit up to create some kind of confusion, so we eventually believe it. But this is the
Personally,
truth.
I'd rather trade Deontay.
This is the real deal.
Not gonna happen.
This is the
I know
real
it's not
deal.
going to happen because they're fans that are biased to him.
This is the real deal. This gentleman is in that list of the top players with the lowest drop percentage in the NFL. That's encouraging. Also, the other fact, most touchdowns inside the opponent's 10-yard line by a receiver from between the years 2015 and 2022.
Allen Robinson.
If you don't want to catch this, if you didn't catch this, listen one more time. Most touchdowns inside the opponent's 10-yard lines by a receiver between 2015 and 2022. Devontae Adams has 41. Mike Evans has 35. Adam Thielen has 29. DeAndre Hopkins has 26. And Allen Robinson has 25.
Not bad.
Not
bad
the
company.
things that need to be done.
Yeah.
The things that need to be done. He is perfect. You're not going to get 20-year-old first round draft. This kid, he's not a kid. You're not going to get the biggest plays, but he's reliable. He's dependable. And things that down the line, the past 2 seasons, as much as we want to forget how bad 2 seasons ago was when our receivers forgot how to catch footballs for the last 5 games of the season, these are the little moves you make to fix those kind of things. This guy is as dependable as it gets. Our red zone offense was 23 last year and 23 the year before. You bring a guy in who is one of the best red zone receivers, such as Robinson. He fixes so many problems, and he was such a small move. It wasn't many things we had to do to make it happen. As a matter of fact, as everybody knows from reading social media for the past 2 days, we pretty much fleeced.
We did.
The Rams by getting him. So there you have it. He's going to be dependable. He's going to be able to find ways to get in the end zone when you're in the red zone. These are big things for the Pittsburgh Steelers. These might not be the biggest news in the NFL, but for the things that we need to do to move forward, he takes 2 of those, and he's going to be able to, considering he doesn't come out as a totally different player.
Yeah.
he's going to be able to fix a couple of these problems. They're big problems that we couldn't score inside the 20, inside the 10. And we were dropping passes when we needed to catch passes. So there you have it, guys. This guy is the real deal in that sense. I think he's going to be a big part of this offense. Do I think he's going to get 1,000 yards? No. Do I think he's going to have amazing plays? No. But he is going to be reliable. And if you go back and you watch his highlights, that's what he is. He's reliable. He catches important balls at important times, makes it important plays, and gets important first downs. And you know what? And you need that, especially with a rookie on the other side of the ball with George Pickens. And, you know, you don't know what Deontay Johnson you're going to get. So having a guy like this, I think is big. So I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy
so far.
Is there anybody that's not happy with this Allen Robinson trade?
Well, like, I want to touch on a couple of things there that you said. You know, his drop rate, 2%. As you said, that's top tier. So now, okay, that's going to take pressure off Deontay. So now we know, okay, we have a guy here on third down. We need to make a key catch. We can go to Allen Robinson. If we want that deep shot, we're going to go to George.
Mm-hmm.
Johnson, okay, yeah, his drop rate's more than 2%, but okay, once you get the ball in his hands, he's a playmaker. Okay, so let's get him the ball, you know, on short, quick routes. Hopefully he can make those catches, and that's going to take pressure. I'm hoping Robinson takes the pressure off of Deontay, so he doesn't have to be the guy. I think if we can do that, he might actually thrive. Okay, I wonder if Deontay is putting too much pressure on himself to be the guy. Since Ben was gone, he's like, okay, I need to make plays now. Last year we saw him do that running backwards thing a lot more than he did the year before. I just wonder if he put too much pressure on himself. Now he has a veteran here that can ease pressure off of him, and his game can go the way it was with Ben. Put up those good numbers, those 1,000-yard receiving, 6 touchdowns a year type numbers.
Now let me ask you this, Mike, only because you brought it up. Do you think that is this something that you feel is going to be addressed amongst the team, amongst the receivers, amongst the coaches, where they say, dude, you got to run upfield, man? Because, you know, and you could say that, you know, 60,000 Steeler fans don't know what they're talking about. But at the end of the day, when you get a ball, you have to go upfield. And let's say you bump back and you go backwards once or twice. That's just, you know, the way that the play turns out. It became obvious that this was an issue throughout the season, the whole way through the season, when he would catch the ball and run backwards and lose yards. It seems like almost every time that happened. I don't have the numbers, but you know what I'm saying. Do you think that this is addressed to the point where we come out this year and we don't see it anymore, you know, maybe once or twice? Or do you think that this is going to be something where these guys are pros, he's got to figure out how to fix it, and if he does, he does. If he doesn't, he doesn't? Do you think that this is going to be addressed, Mike, or is this going to be something that we're going to be slapping our foreheads with every time that he catches the ball again?
I think it's going to be like a situation with Malkin. You know how Malkin always takes those penalties in the offensive zone?
Yeah.
Deontay always runs backwards. As much as you want to coach it out of them, tell them not to do it, have them come to Jesus meetings with them. Certain players get certain things stuck in their head and they can't stop doing it. Whether it's, you know, just trying to do too much. Both of those players, like Deontay wanting to run backwards, gain yards, trying to do too much. Malkin being aggressive in the offensive zone, getting the penalties. It's like, I'm just using Malkin as an example. He's the first one that came to mind. It's like, coach, you tell a player, hey, don't do this, but it's just hardwired into them. They can't help it. As much as you want to scream, yell at them, threaten them, tell them they're going to lose their job, they're just going to keep doing it. So, you know, that people have that in them. Like, I do this is what I'm going to do. I can't stop it. It's like second nature for someone reason. They can't get it out of them.
If you would have did this in high school, it would have worked.
Yeah.
Because he's the fastest guy in the field.
College, it works. Yeah.
You get into college, it works. You get in the pros, everybody's just as fast as you are. A defensive lineman is going to run you down. You know what I mean? You can't, and he didn't do it early. It just came on heavy last year. So whatever happened, they have to somebody's got to get in his head and say, you can't do this because it's killing the team, you know?
Yeah, you hope it works, but I just think it might be one of those things now that's ingrained into his head. But I'm hoping now, hey, I have a veteran receiver next to me. I don't have to be the guy to try and make all the plays now. Kenny will be in his second year now.
On Robinson?
Oh, go ahead, Mike. Finish up.
No. I was thinking this Deontay may have been like one of the thinking, hey, Ben's gone. I need to step up some way and produce more. And I'm going to try and do it by making people miss and gain more yards. And it hindered him. So hopefully that's all it was. Like now he's seeing the team being built around him. Another veteran wide receiver saw what Pickens was doing. Can hope, trust in Kenny's development, and he'll stop doing that. That's just my hope.
I hope you're right. Derpy.
Go ahead,
the Deontay Johnson.
I wanted to say something on Robinson, but
yeah, go ahead.
Will Deontay Johnson fix this issue where he runs south opposed to running north? That just like I said, it came on so strongly this season. Do you think this is something that they could fix? Or
yes, but if he doesn't, and it's the same mentality,
yeah,
they may want to consider trading him.
No, you're right. If it becomes a problem, I mean, ultimately it is going to be something they're going to have to handle.
Because he's so inconsistent, Mike. He does it every single time. The man didn't even score a touchdown last year.
Yeah, because his quarterback play sucked all year long.
No, the quarterback.
That's because
they
of
threw
Canada.
touchdowns. Everybody else, he was the only one that didn't catch one. So it has actually nothing to do, very little to do with the quarterback because everybody else.
We saw what he did with a Hall of Fame quarterback, and we saw what happened to everyone else's production when.
Yeah, he forgot how to catch the ball against the Hall of Fame quarterback too. I don't know if you remember that.
Forgot how to get open in the red zone. The line forgot how to run block.
I'm just saying, if he comes out the same mentality that he has been, they may want to consider it.
Of course, they're
not going to consider. They're not going to trade Deontay Johnson.
Not this year, they won't. But they
won't trade him in the offseason. They won't trade him next year.
I think they will if he comes forth and has this kind of season.
I'll put $100 on it right now.
I'll pay. I'll do $100 easy.
I'll do $100 right now that Deontay Johnson
absolutely
will not be traded.
If he comes out and has the same kind of season this year, he will be gone next year. I promise.
My thing is, ever since he got that money, which he doesn't deserve, at this point, he has been a different player.
We are okay. We got to
put $100 on it. Derpy, you want to put 100 on it?
All right. This isn't okay. Derpy, you wanted to say something about Allen Robinson?
Yes.
Please.
I like this trade. This technically, in a way, this may be a Super Bowl run trade. In a way. I just want to remind you of the 4 quarterbacks that he played for. Bortles, which was Jacksonville. Mitch Trubisky in Chicago, which those 2 offenses right there, he was the best player in the offense.
He put up him and Mitch put up some monster numbers together.
Yeah, nobody's disputing.
And then Stafford, he was decent in Stafford, but they had so many weapons that year. And then the following year, why he dropped because, Baker Mayfield was there.
Baker Mayfield, he came on in the last 5-6 games.
Yes. But who else was there besides because Stafford got hurt?
And Robinson didn't play a whole lot last year.
Yeah, exactly.
And that wasn't Baker Mayfield's fault.
As much as I love talking about NFC West teams, we do have the draft. We got the Steelers. Mike, you did want to say something. What is this the story about? You say that things are created. Rumors are being created around the NFL at draft time, maybe to sink a player, maybe to move a player up or down the board. Give me a little example, Mike, of what you were talking about.
Right now, it started happening yesterday. Out of the blue, Brady Quinn goes, I heard from someone, doesn't say who, that CJ Stroud committed to the Manning camp and he the next day just ghosted them. And so then he ran with it and everyone's running with it. Oh, CJ Stroud, he's unreliable, he can't be trusted, he's immature. Then you have Bryce Young going, yeah, me and him worked a camp together. He was a great guy, great with the kids, great leader. Then you have Ryan Clark going, hey, I reached out to CJ Stroud. He says, no, I did not commit to the Manning camp. I was at Ohio State working out with my teammates. So this leads to the question, does someone have something against CJ Stroud, doesn't want to see him drafted high, or is this a team leaking stuff to members of the media knowing that they won't leaking it to former players,
Mike.
Leaking it to former players who really don't have a journalistic background to verify sources, to put this out there, to watch this guy fall. So other teams go, you know what? I don't trust this guy. I'm going to take someone else. And then next thing you know, you're sitting there at 4 looking at you, Indy Colts, your owner saying, hey, we'll go anywhere, and posting pictures of CJ Stroud, hoping CJ Stroud can fall to you at 4. it's a little conspiracy.
Mike, the thing is,
we saw this. Laramie Tunsil's uncle released that video the night before the draft of him, doing bong rips with a gas mask on. He was going to be like a top 5 pick, falls all the way to 17. But next thing you know, Laramie Tunsil has reset the tackle market twice.
No, he's a Pro Bowl.
Yeah, so it's not unreasonable that all the disinformation that comes out there by teams, talking players up, talking players down.
I'm surprised
hide their intentions
that it took this long for this kind of theory to even come out.
It's usually like this week. It's like this week, right as the draft heating
things
up.
happen all the time behind closed doors. People, you have to get the edge, especially in pro sports. You have to get the edge somehow. And if you can't straight up beat somebody, you look for other ways. You look for strategies. And as I was saying, I'm surprised you don't hear about this more. And maybe it's, people are just trying to keep the integrity of the league, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I think things like this happen all the time. I really do.
Like you start seeing from, anonymous scouts, anonymous GMs are saying such and such about a player. Then they start getting talked down, falling down draft boards. And then a team gets them and they're all like, man, we're surprised he was available. So you're like, huh. Were you the one feeding this narrative out there?
Mike, who's going number 1?
Bryce Young.
Derby, who's going number 1?
Bryce Young.
Ownership in Carolina wants Bryce Young. The coach wants CJ Stroud.
Because ESPN's biased to the SEC teams.
Is that what it is?
The NFL evaluators give 2 shits what ESPN or NFL networks say about a player. And if any of those dudes in that scouting room care what Mel Kiper Jr. says or Todd McShay says, those evaluators are going to be gone within 2 years. The ownership is, and the scouting department likes Bryce Young. Coach likes CJ Stroud. It's going to, and the owner's the one who writes the check, and he's going to be the one that says, hey, this is the guy we want. And it's not because of ESPN pushing a narrative.
Who's going to be, Mike, the first drafted non-quarterback?
It's going to be, it's a toss-up for me right now. It's Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech or Will Anderson Jr. out of Alabama.
Derpy, who's the first non-quarterback taken in this year's draft?
Will Anderson.
Okay.
See, look, Derpy. Now you're back in my good graces.
I do know this.
Hold on. Just for that. Oh, he muted himself. I was going to mute him again.
Unmute yourself so you can.
There we go. Now
he can mute you. But as Mike said the other day, the Jordan Addison folks here in town, you could pretty much kiss that goodbye. And I think, like as Mike was saying, I think this is a good thing. If you're going to go after receiver, you got to get what you got to get now. You don't need that receiver right now. It's going to be nice. You're going to ultimately need your depth at receiver. You bring in somebody like Robinson at the deal that we got him at. This is perfect case scenario. Not only you have a reliable set of hands, you have a veteran. You have somebody who's been around. You had a guy on a Super Bowl. This right here is probably the best thing that we could have did, considering that we do have to take high draft picks to get a left tackle to protect our quarterback and to get a cornerback, who's got to get the ball rolling for being the quarterback of the team in this future, the future of this team, because Patrick Peterson, of course, at 32, 33 years old, he's only going to be around for these next 2 seasons on his contract. So the guy that we're going to get is going to be very active in the secondary. So these are obviously the pink elephants in the room that we have to address. You can't worry about receivers at this point. If you want to try to get your receiver later around and see if he pans out, that's fine. This was the right move. Unfortunate for the Pitt fans and people around that love Jordan Addison. He's going to be playing elsewhere, and you know what? He could be playing in Baltimore. To be honest with you, I'm looking at these mock drafts and seeing Jordan Addison landing in Baltimore with Jordan Addison and Odell Beckham Jr. and everything they got going on. So you might not love Jordan Addison too much longer, depending on what happens.
I do want to piggyback on something that Derpy said. He said this Allen Robinson trade feels like a Super Bowl move. Everything that they have done so far, it's like they are gearing up for a run.
Yeah,
you don't bring in Patrick Peterson if you're not making a run for something. You don't
replace a quarter of your team
if you're
in free agency. Mike, Derpy, 53 guys are on a team. He brings in 12 in free agency.
Yeah, you're not being rumored to move up to 9 moving up into the top 10 to draft Jalen Carter if he falls, or Paris Johnson Jr. if he falls. You're not getting one of those two studs to make your run, because you can either upgrade your line to make a gigantic leap by upgrading left tackle, or a gigantic leap to upgrade that defense even more to go, hey, you know what, we're going all in on defense like we did like early in the 70s, like the Bears did, like the Ravens did. We're going to kill you on defense. So it has a build of like, we're going all in this year and next year to make a run, and I am all for it.
I'm going to give you some fun numbers, and then we're going to start working on wrapping up the show. These numbers, guys, I think you're going to enjoy. These are the fun numbers of the day. These six teams have the most interceptions, and the number interceptions they have are right here. These six teams since 1966. 1966. You got to think Super Bowl one was, I think, 66, 67 season. So this, ever since the Super Bowl era, this is your leaders of interceptions, top six teams, and the amount of interceptions they had. Number 6, Minnesota Vikings. They've had one interception since 1966. The Washington, formerly known as the Redskins, they have 1,053 interceptions since then. The Green Bay Packers, sitting at number 4, 1,061 interceptions since 1966. The number 3 team, the Rams, all NFC so far. I don't know if you noticed. The Rams sitting at third in that category with 1,080. The number 2 team, the Kansas City Chiefs, have 1,138 interceptions. And the top team since 1966, the top team that has the most interceptions in the Super Bowl era, are your Pittsburgh Steelers with 1,148 interceptions since 1966. Since the year of Super Bowl one till right now, guys, there's been no team in the NFL that's intercepted more passes than your Pittsburgh Steelers. There you go, 1,148 times. Mike, go ahead and tell everybody about the website.
TwoDumbYinzers.com. That's where, you know, all the greats go. That's where Mel Blount, Rod Woodson, Troy Polamalu, Carnell Lake, Shea Townsend, all those guys that picked off all those 1,000 passes go. They go.
Ike had hands. How many that number would be?
Ike would be a first ballot Hall of Famer. TwoDumbYinzers.com. Head on over there. You can check out the website, the merchandise store, links to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter accounts, merchandise store, everything you need. 2WYinzers is at 2WYinzers.com. Ike Taylor, catch a ball.
Yeah. Could you imagine if he would have had hands, where we would be? I mean, the number of interceptions we would have on that list. Geez, we'd be over 1,200. Guys, it is time for the 2-minute warning, which means trivia of the day. Today's trivia guy is going to be a draft question. It's a question that's an overall draft, not the Steelers, not this season, just overall draft question. All right. You comfortable with that, Derpy?
Yes, sir.
Feel confident, Mike? General draft. All right. Here's the question of the day. Which of these quarterbacks went undrafted? So you got multiple choice. Which of these quarterbacks went undrafted? Is it A, Rich Gannon, B, Tony Romo, C, Bart Starr, or D, Roger Staubach? Again, which of these quarterbacks went undrafted? A, Rich Gannon, B, Tony Romo, C, Bart Starr, or D, Roger Staubach? Go ahead and take a minute to think about it. We'll get your answers.
Romo was drafted. 100% sure. I know
Romo was drafted 100% on that one.
Staubach. Who are the other three? Staubach,
Rich Gannon, Bart Starr, and Staubach.
Wow.
It's like you like to torture us.
Oh, these are good ones. You can't do the obvious and go Kurt Warner. So damn.
It can't be Starr.
Packers, Cowboys, Rich. Fuck it. Roger Staubach.
Roger Staubach is Mike's answer. He says
Yeah,
that Roger
see, I
Staubach
was leaning
has
him
not
and
been drafted.
Yeah, I was leaning him and Rich Gannon. I'm gonna go with Roger.
All right, Derpy, who do
I'm
you say is the quarterback that was undrafted? Was it A, Rich Gannon, B, Tony Romo, C, Bart Starr, or D, Roger Staubach? And Mike went with D.
I'm gonna go with Mike's answer too.
So you
Staubach.
guys are both going Staubach. Let me get you locked in there. All right, here we go, guys.
Much be gamey.
Which of these quarterbacks went undrafted? A, Rich Gannon, B, Tony Romo, C, Bart Starr, D, Roger Staubach. Of course, the answer, well, the guy said it was Roger Staubach, so that is incorrect. The correct answer is, despite being eligible for the 2003 NFL Draft, Romo again was overlooked later that year, signed with the Dallas Cowboys as an undrafted free agent.
What? I thought he was a 4th round pick. Like
yes,
Dak.
sir.
Oh, and I said he was drafted so confidently too.
Yes, I thought that he was too. I was very unsure. That's why I was like, I have to use this question. This was a good question.
That's like the Mandela effect, man. I was for sure he was drafted in the 4th round, like Dak Prescott was drafted in the later rounds.
So there you have it, everybody. Tony Romo was not drafted. Good job, though,
wow.
guys. Mike, you got anything before we take off, man?
Do the research on the draft. It's getting here. Read more and more, and you will read. If you want to do a draft prediction, read what the beat writers are saying. They are in tune with the team. They know more than the national media when it comes to the draft.
All right.
Little tidbit.
Derpy.
You know, the Pittsburgh Steelers are the 6-time Super Bowl champs, of course. We made many moves this offseason, but come February, we're going to be the 7-time Super Bowl champs.
Hey,
and it all starts the next Thursday.
I like it. That was as good as closing comments as you had. And you come up with some pretty good classics. So but no, hey, everybody, I can't wait. It's a week away, 1 week away, guys. So everybody's getting excited. As Mike says, follow the people that he mentioned. As Derpy says, Super Bowl next February. Pittsburgh Pirates back at it tonight. They do play the Reds at 6:35, first game of a 4-game homestand against them. The Dodgers come to town next. So a lot of home baseball. Maybe you might get down to the North Shore to watch some baseball. If you do, go have a good time and be safe. Other than that, for Derpy, Mike, Ryan, the two dumb yinzers, everybody have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
See ya.